Welcome to Jason is a Social Scientist. By Mouth Daily, pill number 8.22. This is another pill dedicated to my mother. It should be an extra special pill because not only is it dedicated to my mother, but I'm going to break some new ground. I'm going to talk about something that embarrasses me. And for anybody who's watched the show before, I talk a lot about embarrassing things. And this is something I've been holding back. And now you get to hear something embarrassing. But first we're going to, again, dedicate the show to my mother. Bless her heart. By the end of the show, I don't know if she'll want to be associated with this. No, I know she would be. She'll be proud of this. She'd be proud of this pill, even though it's going to be a tough one to swallow for me. You have to swallow some pride and eat some embarrassment. But it's worth it, because, like, fuck stigma. Fuck it right in the ass. Hey, Shannon. Hi. Welcome to Jason is a Social Scientist. By Mouth Daily, pill number 8.22. And tonight we're eating stigma and eating embarrassment. I got a phone call from my doctor today. That's the only clue. That's the only clue. But first, this is celebrating my mother. Because thrice is nice. She had one pill dedicated to her, two pills dedicated to her, and now 3 pills. Thrice is nice. And I had a few stories in mind that I was going to tell you about my mother. She's she used to be a smoker. That was one of the things she was most embarrassed about. I'm just remembering this right now, but I have a home. I wish I had it queued up. Somewhere I've got a home recording. Because my dad bought what do you call it? Like those like mini VHS home camcorders, from the 80s, and I was recording her, like, without her permission, without her knowing, as she was smoking a cigarette, and she's like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. Anyway, so my mom, that wasn't the story I was going to tell you. Like, I just really like the fact that she tried to hide the fact that she was a smoker from my dad. Like, my mom was a literal 3-pack-a-day smoker. Like, Salem Ultralight 100s. She might as well have been smoking air, honestly, but I tried to smoke those things. But whatever. Like, it was still a lot of cigarettes, a lot of smoke to be burned, like tobacco to be burning in the house. I mean, literally, the seat above her, like, we had, like, a drop ceiling, like, with the supports, like, the squares, like, anyway. The support, like, the little gray slat supports. Peekaboo! Hey, Angel! They were stained, like, yellow from the tobacco above her head. But she never smoked in front of my dad because he didn't know. He didn't know that she was this. What? What was going on there? I'm not sure. That would happen for years. And my mom would, like, literally have cartons of cigarettes hidden around the house. Like, and hey, Dustin, like, hidden in, like, she loved to knit. And she had so much, like, kitchen cupboards full of yarn. Hey, Amanda. Right, I know. I remember, my mom swears that I could not remember this, but I remember when I was a little kid, at the old house we used to live on Lake Street in Baraboo, And like we moved out of there in second grade, but I was probably 4 or 5, and I was in the corner of the kitchen table, like in the corner of the kitchen, looking out from behind the table, and my godmother and my mother both smoked, and my dad like was quitting smoking, and he came and took one from, I don't know, either my godmother or my mother, and I saw him take the cigarette. And my mom's like, "You never saw your dad smoke." And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. Hey, Angel. I was a smoker until 2006. I was always ragging on my mom to stop smoking. Oh, Mom, it stinks so bad. It stinks. Roll down the window. Because she always smoked in the car with me. To smoke 3 packs a day, you literally have to light one, you put one out, and light the next one. The whole time you're awake. And she, what was I saying? Anyway, yeah, she would hide them, and she was a knitter, and she would love to knit. Crochet. She was a crochet. She didn't knit, crocheted. I could never learn how to crochet. She tried to teach me a couple times. And it seems so boring. I wonder if I'd like it now. Anyway, she'd hide the cartons of cigarettes in the yarn. I have. Oh, let me go get it. I think I have it here. Never mind. I had the piece of furniture that she used to store her yarn in. Never mind. Anyway, it still smells like cigarettes even to this day. But you wouldn't have been able to smell that anyway. Right, Amanda? And then, so I quit in 2006. I quit because it was too expensive. It was just too expensive. You know, and I had other habits that I had to feed at the time. And I had to pick, like, are you going to smoke this or are you going to smoke that? That was an easy guy. Communion. Let's see. And then, what happened next? So I had another story. The communion bulletin. Oh, that worked out so well. What a transition. The communion bulletin, or the church bulletin. Communion. So, when I was growing up, my dad went to church 6 days a week. After he joined AA. Even before then, when he met my mom, he was studying to be a priest. He was a brother, whatever that means exactly, but he was studying to be a priest. And then, I don't know, I think he stopped doing that and then met my mom, and I think that was the order. I don't think he left that to be with my mom. But, and then, actually my grandpa, my mom's dad, met my dad in a bar in Baraboo and thought he was a great catch for my mom. And so, yeah, my dad, you know, we just went to church every Sunday when I was real little. And church was actually fun when I was really little, like before they imposed rules on you and you could crawl around on the floor and like eat Cheerios and lay across everybody's lap to take a nap, like that was fun. But then when you had to sit upright, and like, that was lame. The only fun part was like I got to sit next to my mom, and I could make her laugh. Like I would turn her wedding ring. I'd pretend to be all sweet and a loving little boy, and I would twist her ring until the diamond was facing like the inside of her finger, and I would squeeze as hard as I could. And then what else would I do? And then I would do like you guys all know this is the church, this is the steeple. Look inside, see all the people. I would do this like, this is the church, this is the steeple. Look inside, there's no people because it's boring. No one goes. Or I would do, this is the church, this is the steeple. Look inside, all the people are sleeping because it's so boring. And I could get her going, like squeezing a ring like that. She would start laughing, and like she wouldn't laugh out loud, but it would start to shake the whole pew, and my dad would get mad. It was Catholic for me, but Lutheran. My mom, my mom's whole family, my grandpa, my grandma, like her sisters and everyone, all became Catholic because of my dad. Before that, they were Lutheran. How often does that happen? But anyway, like the Lutheran church in Baraboo, there's like different synods or whatever in church. Like the Lutheran church was even more strict than the Catholic church. Like you couldn't dance, you couldn't play cards. I don't know. I don't think you could have sex with the lights on. I don't know. But what? So the church bulletin, like, my dad went to church, like, after he stopped drinking, he dived right back into full-on religion, and he went to church, like, 6 days a week. He was a Knight of Columbus, which, what I know most about Knights of Columbus, I would help out at the county fair and sell, Tootsie Rolls to support the Knights of Columbus and whatever else it is they did. I think they distributed Tootsie Rolls at parades. I think that was their main function. I don't know what Knights of Columbus actually did. But my dad was a member of that, which is a Catholic organization. We used to have Legion of Mary meetings at our house every Monday with Father Henry. And I think his housekeeper, what was her name? And one other person too. There was like 4 people. And my dad would make me join sometimes too. And there you just pray your devotions to Mary, Mother of God. Do that for half an hour on Monday on top of church. And we hosted that at our house. They say you went to church 6 days a week? What else? Did he do anything else? So he was also a Eucharist. This is the important part. He was a Eucharistic minister. So he would get up at 6:30 on Sunday mornings to go help the priest distribute communion to the parishioners. And that was far too early for Mom and I to get up. We couldn't do that. But of course we would go to church. And we would go to church, and instead we would go to Country Kitchen and eat breakfast. And then on the way home, as church was letting out, she would let me out in the parking lot, and I would run up inside and grab the week's church bulletin as evidence that we had gone to church. That is one of my favorite memories about my mother. Like us colluding against my father to escape church. I don't even know if that was because I don't know if that was my order might be wrong, because at some point my mom joined Al-Anon. It's back for good, Evan. It's back until I tell you. I'll tell you I'm leaving before I leave next time. I promise. Or if something, I mean, as much as I'm able to keep that promise, I'll keep that promise. And my dad, yeah, but at some point, my mom joined Al-Anon. She realized that lying to her spouse is wrong. What? Okay, all right. I hear you, but I don't want to go to church. Okay, and so yeah, that's the and then I don't think I fully the other story, because the past 2 pills have been dedicated to my mother, and the other big story that I don't know if I fully articulated is that like my mom, I feel like she never articulated this to me, but I feel like just this implicit knowledge that she regretted allowing my father to use corporal punishment on my brother and my sister, who are 11 and 12 years older than me. And I think it haunted her. And I think when I was told by my mother that, because I came along 11 years after my brother, but my mom told me that a year before I was born, she had a miscarriage. And it made her want a baby really badly. And so that makes me a rainbow baby. And I know, I just have a sense that she regretted allowing my dad to hit my brother and sister. And my mom, she put herself between my dad and myself, so that I didn't receive corporal punishment. And my mom was just capable of a lot of change and self-reflection and change. And she was just a powerful lady, and I admire her, and I'll always admire her. And she taught me, one other thing she taught me was that she taught me to not be embarrassed of my feelings, and to talk about them openly. It was an anonymous setting, but still, Alateen, it's Alcoholics Anonymous Teen. I don't even know what Alateen. I don't know what. But anyway, so I was in that. And they made me. My mom and dad forced me to my first therapy appointment when I was 11. They didn't tell me where I was even going. They're like, let's go for a drive. And it seemed suspicious from the jump. We got in the car, and we lived in North Freedom, which is about a 15-minute drive from Baraboo, and the therapist's office was in Baraboo. And the whole time I'm like, where are we going? Oh, we'll see when we get there, which is really weird for 11. I'm like, what? Where are we going? Where are we going? And I can't remember, but I was mad when they told. It was the worst therapist too. I'll tell you, I've had the worst luck with therapists sometimes. She was fine for a while. We just mostly played chess and played games. Didn't talk about feelings at all, really. One time she brought my parents in, and I told my dad I didn't love him, and he cried. But that's neither here nor there. The thing that was crazy was, she accused me of writing in her checkbook. There was somebody had written. I don't know if she did this. I honestly don't know. Somebody had written Jason, and whatever her last name was, they didn't tear it out of the checkbook or anything. It was just written in there and left in there. I don't even know when she thought I had the opportunity to do this. But I did not. I promise you, I did not do this. I did not write in her check. But she accused me, and she wouldn't believe me. And my mom was furious. She wrote a letter to the licensing board, even if you did do that, Jason, she should have come to me first. And that's fair, right? But what the heck? But my mom always had my back. And what else? So now, I promised at the beginning, embarrassing, the thing I've been holding back, 1,700 pills, and I haven't really articulated or talked about directly because I was embarrassed. And so, and you guys have heard me talk about a lot of things, seemingly without embarrassment. one of the things that I always felt in the old show is like if I felt embarrassment, I knew I was doing something right. That was my guiding star. Are you embarrassing yourself yet, Jason? Are you embarrassed yet? But there was like a boundary. There's certain things that I was just too embarrassed about, and one of those it was vanity. It's part of his vanity, and I wanted the audience. This is what it was. I wanted the audience to think of me as a sexual object. I wanted, and I don't want that anymore. I don't want the audience to think of me as any sort of object. I want you to think of me as a vulnerable person. Because that's what I am. I am a vulnerable person. And the thing that I've been holding back is just my other history with sexually transmitted illness. It's something that's it's also tied up in with trauma with me. So it's not only just a stigma, it's trauma and stigma. So the very right after I contracted HIV, I was talking to a friend tonight that shared some things with me that made me feel more comfortable. I'm not comfortable, more comfortable about coming up here and telling these stories. But I used to tell a story that I believed to be true about how I contracted HIV, and it wasn't true. And it doesn't matter what that story was, but it wasn't true. And the truer story, I think, I don't even know for sure, because we'll just get a lot out. So I'll just tell my sexual history. I didn't up before the age of. Well, it's easier for me to tell years. Before the year 2013 or 14, 2000, I had approximately 7 sexual partners, 6 female and 1 male. That's just off the top of my head. I have to go back and count, but that's what I used to remember to say. And I didn't have all of my sexual partners. Besides my wife, had occurred before my marriage. Well, there was one. I got a hand job, in a sort of 3-way with a mutual friend and my wife and I. Before I got married, well, my wife, we were still a couple. But after we got married, it was pretty much straight monogamy. But there was no when we were getting married, I talked to my wife about writing the vows, and she's like, "You just do it." And I didn't include monogamy because it wasn't important to me, and we'd already had sort of shown not monogamy. I would have lived my life with monogamy, thinking I was, I probably would have been happy. I just need a connection, not lots of sex with lots of different individuals. But anyway, I'm getting off track. And so I hadn't had any sexually transmitted diseases up until that point. So yeah, there was no monogamy. And then after about a year, my wife and I didn't have sex for about a year, and I didn't complain. I respected her, I didn't make unreasonable demands. It's not that I respect. It's her fundamental right, right? But I was masturbating to gay porn and in the living room in my own home, and she came out and she shamed me for it. And after a year without sex, that was the last straw. And I said that I'm going to start exploring my sexuality, bisexuality. And that's what I told her. I said, you don't have to say yes. I don't know what I'm going to say if you say no, but I want you to come back. I want you to think about it and come back and tell me. something. What I would have, ideally, what I would have liked is like for her to say, "I don't want you to do that, Jason. Let's start having sex again," or something to that effect. I don't know. But I just got silence for 3 weeks, and then my wife went into rehab. I'm going to share that. She was forced into it. And I was so mad, I used that as an excuse. And it wasn't right. I should have had one more discussion with her. I know I should have. But I used that as an excuse, and I had sex with somebody on Grindr. And my wife found out about it right away when she got back, and then we were negotiating an open relationship from that point on. And from that year, I had sex with approximately, I'm just doing the math, like 3 guys a week, maybe, something like that. I don't know. About 100 guys, I would say. It was a lot. Guys are real jerks. Real jerks. Especially after they come. Trust me. I used to say, I'm glad that I like to be debased. Otherwise, Grindr would be even worse. Let's see. And, what else? So, from there, I contracted. I still, I did pretty good. After 100 guys, I only contracted HIV. I remember, when I got the results from my HIV testing. So I had, these spots on my tongue. And it was yeast. It was like thrush. And that was weird. So I went to the doctor, and I already had 3 months earlier, maybe, or 2 months earlier, had angular cheilitis, which is also yeast in the corner of your lips. Also weird, right? But yeah. And so I remember them saying, I called, because it was taking a while to get the results, and I called, and they're like, "Red, you don't have syphilis, you don't have gonorrhea, you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have that." And then I was waiting for the HIV, and they're like, "We're just waiting on the HIV results." And I was like, okay. This should be a rapid test, right? But whatever. And then I got a call the next day saying, "Just kidding. We do have results. Your rapid came back positive, but we were waiting for, because once you get a rapid test, they send it out to a lab, like at Mayo Clinic or something, and they get I don't know if they still do it, but they get a more final result. But the problem was the blood sample that I had coagulated, and so they couldn't use the sample at Mayo, so they had to admit that they had the results and they were lying to me. I got that on a road trip to Colorado, to Pikes Peak. That was August of 2015. Okay, and then that was devastating. And then my wife, that was too much for my wife. She's like, "All right, you need to find someplace else to live." And she called up. I told you about the 7 other people that I had sex with in the past, before these 100 people and before I got married, and one of them was a guy. That's who my wife called. She remembered that person. She called him, and she said, "Come get this guy. Come get him." And so there I was, living there. And he raped me at one point in the year that I lived there. And beyond that, he gave me a horrible, horrible case of herpes on my ass. He didn't even know he had cold sores. He just is a really hairy guy, and he had thick whiskers. I don't even like having my ass eaten. Honestly, I hate it. And I hate eating ass even worse, because I got giardia once from that. That fits into this story, I guess, but would be later. It was before. Before HIV, I had giardia. I learned in nursing school from the microbiology teacher, the nickname for Giardia is old man in the gut, because if you look at under a microscope, it looks like an old man with a beard. And that, the worst case of diarrhea. And I don't want that to ever happen again. So I refuse to eat ass. Yes. And so he had got whisker burn all over my ass and had cold sores that he never knew about. And HSV1 is usually infectious on your face, and HSV2 is usually on your genitals, but they can go both ways. Just like me, they can go both ways. And I got a raging case of HSV1 on my asshole. Like, before, like, the lesion started, it's just like a burning, like a burning sensation. Like your nerves are on fire. And then comes like a fever. Like the worst, like if anybody had chickenpox when they're little, it felt like I had chickenpox, which makes sense. It's a varicella virus. It's in the same family. And it felt like the day I had chickenpox in second grade. Like I was at my grandma's house and I was like, felt the same way, just this horrible headache. I didn't have the itching all over my skin, but just this horrible pounding headache and fever. And that day, my dad had bought me, this is the nicest thing my dad ever did for me, probably. He bought me a Harley Davidson motorcycle. Not a motorcycle, but like a four-wheel, not a four, like a two-wheeler, but it's motorized. It had like a pull start. It was like a tiny thing, for kids. But it was Harley Davidson, and it had a green gas engine, and but I was like so sick I could barely appreciate it. And I remember getting home, I was at my grandma's house feeling sick, and we got home, and the Harley was in my dad's truck, and we got it out, and I rode it on it, and the cold wind, because it must have been spring or something, felt like must have cooled off the fever and I felt better for briefly. And then the next day I broke out in chickenpox. And that was the same time we moved from Baraboo to North Freedom, like in second grade, when I was talking about earlier. And I was delayed starting at North Freedom. My school was delayed starting because I had chickenpox. Anyway, the very first person that I had sex with after I contracted HIV gave me herpes. I was also my rapist. And then, during the show, the very beginning of the previous edition of the show, you saw, when I first started, I had moved back into the house after being kicked out by the rapist. And I, for a brief time, I was still on Grindr, but it wasn't satisfying, and I just stopped shortly thereafter. And so most of the time that you saw me, my wife and I had just kind of gone back into monogamy. And I felt ashamed for having contracted HIV. I felt ashamed for how it made my wife feel, to know that she was married to a man that had HIV and had sex with men. And she was embarrassed of me. I was embarrassed of. I took on all the weight of everything that happened in our relationship, even though I won't go into everything that I talked about a little bit, but there was a lot more that there's a lot of cruelty that I was exposed to for no good reason. There's never a good reason for cruelty. Anyway, I forgot the poem and the premise, but I'm glad we just got off to this is a good show anyway. I was going to do a poem and a premise to begin with. Anyway, then, you know, like, we were limping along, my wife and I, and there's, like, barriers to our intimacy that I thought were completely physical, for most of that time, and then, like, 2 years ago, I found out that, there were other barriers, like, my wife's embarrassment of me is like one big barrier why she wouldn't allow me to massage her or touch her. She would, you know, she would meet my needs in certain ways, but, you know, like, I just, I'm trying to avoid, like, being too directly critical of my wife right now. That's not what this show is about. But I also, like, I'm feeling the need to defend myself. Like, I'm going to skip that and just know. I know you don't have to believe this. You don't have to believe anything. But I know that I didn't do anything in this relationship like that was like fundamentally dishonest. You heard the most dishonest thing that I did in this relationship earlier. And my wife knew who I was when we were friends. I came out to her as gay when she was a close friend of mine. And I trusted her with that. And then later on, she told me she was in love with me. But it's shameful for me to masturbate to gay porn. Like, it's not, I don't know, there's like, there I go again. I'm defending, I was just treated unfairly, okay? And I do my best to be honest and authentic. Since I was a kid, I refused to go along to get along. I refused, to say I believed in God at 10 to make my dad happy. I refused to get confirmed at 16. I refused to get up. I asked my dad, do you want me to get up in front of God, the church, and everyone and lie? He couldn't say anything. I try to be honest. Anyway, so, fast forward, a couple weeks ago, I was in the midst of a suicidal crisis. I begged my wife to get me help. I said, if you can't help me, find somebody who will. I texted to her that one night, and then I said it to her verbally another night, and she's like, fine, I'll text your brother and sister. And then she doesn't actually text them. And like, I was furious to be treated that way. And I needed help. But anyway, I checked into a hotel, and I had sex with somebody on Grindr. And now, the very first person I had sex with, after all that, that person gave me anal gonorrhea. And I just got the phone call from the doctor today telling me that. So I have to go tomorrow and get a shot of Rocephin to clear it up. And I hate it. It makes me hate sex. It makes me want to never have sex ever, ever, ever again. It just is like caused me nothing but pain. And I just wish I could go like back to that moment before when I was still a fetus. And before testosterone twisted my body and forced some of my parts on the outside. Like, we all have the same tissues. They just get moved around by testosterone. I hate my sex drive. I do. It feels separate from me, and I just wish I could excise it. I don't know if that's healthy. It doesn't sound healthy. Man, I'm just, I feel really embarrassed right now. And I also had anal warts. I don't know from my rapist or if they just started coming out. I had them earlier and they just only, whatever. Tea tree oil works really well at fixing fucking anal warts.
Jason, watch what you say. The kid's here.
Oh, I'm supposed to watch what I say. Like, fuck that. Whatever. You know, she used to tell me, just talking about HIV, like, when the kids were younger, shh, shh. I was like mortified. Mortified. How could she say that? How could she say, like, of course I didn't, shh. But what, like, the instinct that my illness is something I should hide from my children. Thank you, Ariel. I'm not embarrassed. Oh, my phone is blowing up. My wife is pissed off. Well, all right. So, the point I wanted to get around to is, like, the STIs, sexually transmitted illness, like, I hate the fucking stigma. It's bullshit. Like, I was a kid, and when I was a little kid, I had a wart on my knuckle right there, and one on my elbow. Like, I had HPV long before I ever was sexually active. Like, and I had plantar's warts long before I was sexually active. Like, HPV is like something that I had even before sex, and it's like, it's so common. And herpes, you know, it's just like chickenpox. Like, people are so ashamed of herpes. Like, at least in my experience for herpes, is that the first outbreak was so bad. But then after that, it was like, if I ever got a lesion, I wouldn't even know that it. I feel like my wife is up there listening to every word or something. I wouldn't even know what I had. I would think it was just like a scratch on my skin or something, rather than an outbreak. And the only reason I would know it happens so rarely, and if it ever happens, I just know it because of how it felt before. And chickenpox is the same way. Like, it just lays dormant in your body, and like, usually if it comes back out, it's not as bad. Like, I had shingles once, I think, because and that's the chickenpox virus. Like, they're really close cousins. Anyway, so I don't know why one is like just a childhood illness that, like, you would, before there was a vaccine, you would take your kids to catch from other kids. But the other one is the most shameful thing that you could ever have and ruins your sex life forever. And the biggest one is, like, the moral difference about, you know, like, people, like, act like gonorrhea, you know, like, people, like, spreading gonorrhea in a bathhouse is, like, the biggest sin of the world, or, like, this moral failing. But the same person will go visit their grandmother while they have the flu and spread it to who knows how many elderly people and kill them, and not even bat an eye and even realize what they've done. like I guess maybe because it's so intimate, sexual activity is so intimate that you know how you got it and who you got it from. Whereas when it's spread through the air, we're allowed to believe that it just magically comes and there's no stigma attached to it then. But the effect is the same or sometimes worse. Anyway, I fucking hate the stigma. Like, sexually transmitted diseases are like any other disease. Like, you get them, you recover, and you move on with your fucking life. But people have to, like, wear it like shame. Like, I don't know, I'm sick of being ashamed and embarrassed. I'm sick of seeking sex at all, like, but I'm not gonna do it with random people that treat me like shit anymore. Like, that is one thing I learned. I learned this from Claude. Like what my dad taught me. My dad taught me when I was young that all gay people are child molesters. That's what I was taught when I was little. And I asked my dad, like, what about people who only molest female children? And he told me they're gay. And so that's what I was taught when I was growing up. And what Claude taught me is that that was my seeking like sex, love, and connection from a place of shame and like ignorance is what led to my HIV. Like if my dad teaching me to be so ashamed, embarrassed, is why I have HIV. If he would have like seeking love and connection in a healthy way, in a loving way, I would never have contracted HIV. So, you know, fuck shame, fuck stigma. It just makes everything worse. I don't know what I need tonight. Honestly, don't know what I need. I can't wait to read these text messages from my wife. The truth stings, I guess. Ouch. Fucking hate. Let's read a nursery rhyme. That could be fun. And engage the echo chamber. Let's have some fun. I think I got everything I wanted out in that show. I think it went fairly the way I expected. Let's see. Go, Gadget Echo Chamber. Ariel, I should, I'm still wondering, since the day I contracted HIV, you know, I didn't read Scarlet Letter, but I was assigned it in AP English class, and I wanted to get HIV in scarlet letters written across my breast. And we watched the movie in class too. Thank you, Jeanette. I love you. And then I thought about having the other STIs dripping drops of blood into a pool. I remember when I first got diagnosed, the psychiatrist said, I want you to wait at least 1 year. No, 2 years. 2 years before you do that. It's been 10. Should I do it? years. 2 years before you do that. All right. Let's flip to a random page. This was my mom's favorite book. I don't know if it was her favorite book, but let's say it was our favorite book together. Oh, we already read this one, The Three Wise Men of Gotham. Hot cross buns. Well, thank you for being here, Sean. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny. Hot cross buns. If you have no daughters, give them to your sons. 1 a penny, 2 a penny. Hot cross buns. But if you have none of these little elves, then you may eat them all yourselves. This street cry, which has been sung for several centuries, was chanted on Good Friday morning when hot cross buns were and still are eaten. Sacred spice cakes, cooked on special festive days, were probably introduced to Britain by the Romans. All right, let's read the premise. Thank you all for being here tonight. Did I do okay? Was it okay? It was embarrassing. Did it make sense? It was all embarrassing. Thank you all for being here tonight. Did I do okay? Was it okay? I was nervous about this one. So, is anybody wondering what the show is about? Millie! I was looking at your name. It's Millie, right? I was waiting for you to come back. I was like, last time you were here, I was watching, I'm like, Amanda Coulson. Millie. It's Millie. I love when people's nicknames come back to me. Hey, Abro. All right. Some of you might be wondering what the show is about. People often wonder what the show is about. The premise is deceptively simple. I take my HIV medication live on the book of face each day in front of friends, family, and strangers. I knew it. I do so in order to embrace stigma, dispel ignorance, and find support. After 8.22 pills, after 8.22 shows, a number of bells, whistles, and bows have risen up and around and about the show. The bells, bows, and other people, the people that come back night after night and give me their most valuable resource, their time. To me, that's the most significant thing that's risen up and around and about the show, the community. Therein lies the support that I was looking for. But a number of bells, whistles, and bows have risen up and around and about the show. I think I remember most of you. Ding dong bell, boy she now. Hell, heck. This show has it all. I like to say that it is Cloud Atlas and that it incorporates at least 600 years of entertainment. Edward R. Murrow's radio broadcast on record and cylinders played on a 19th century Edison home phonograph, along with a nursery rhyme book from my childhood containing woodcut illustrations from the 15th century. It is, in a sense, also the Matrix. In a previous iteration of the show, I created something I call the Rainbow Tunnel, in which I harnessed the power of Grayskull and the eye of Thundera, funneling the resulting anti-tachyon beam through a series of warped nacelles, creating a static warp bubble and a subsequent singularity, punching a hole through the fourth wall, across the multiverse, and into the source. Wait. The show now takes place... Wait, I gotta read this. This part's new. I added to this. The show now takes place in an echo chamber created by me that serves as a light way station, lighting the way between our reality and the source. I don't expect lay people to fully understand, as this is advanced social science. Yeah, so the show's also like an old-timey variety show, Carol Burnett style, mixed with a merry melody of Looney Tunes and a measure of Mork and Mindy, a dash of Mr. Ed, and two doses of Alice in Wonderland, a helping of Hee Haw, heaps of Benny Hill, a hint of the Highlander, tons of the Twilight Zone, a tincture of Teen Wolf, ow, 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 an ounce of Oz, a cup of Creep Show, a cup of... Wait, what? A cup of... I think I'd have this down by now. A quart of quantum leap and a gallon of Gilligan's Island. That's where we're going. It's a 4-hour show and a 4-hour tour. Piles of Pee-wee's Playhouse, pinch of Peter Pan, a pound of Popeye. I am what I am. A whole block of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and a ration of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Come up to the lab. See what's on the slab. I can see you shiver with anticipation. Touch me. I want to be dirty. Thrill me. Chill me. Full. Bill me. Creature of the night. An undone Benjamin Button. A corny ear of Dumbo. A college tribe I spy. A spoonful of Mary Poppins. What else? Oh, I forgot about the full Monty Python. Papa Mike Pringles. Dang it. Until it tingles. Finally, lumping Rick and Morty with the leader of I Love Lucy in the Sky with diamonds and wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. You got the show. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you. Everything is out of place and out of time here, including and especially me. April will always be pregnant. Harambe will always be ready for her high fives. The first and the second coming will always be risen with the Obamas getting blowjobs from the Woodies. The Supermen and their boners will always be spinsters and seamstresses working the sweatshop. The twin towers will always stand with Lady Liberty. You will have their MTV. Pigs will fly. Disco and dance will reign. Like men did in the days of old. I write nightly the future history of anachronism for your future children and your elderly grandparents. May they enjoy it now and time immemorial. If I were to have people take only one thing away from this show, it would be the knowledge that HIV is preventable. If you're HIV negative, there's a once-a-day pill you can take. They call it PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis. It works. You take it once a day, and it works like a highly effective chemical condom. It prevents HIV. But if you're already HIV positive like me, treatment is prevention. By taking my medication every day and maintaining an undetectable viral load, I don't even have to take it every day, like 80%. But by taking my medication, and maintaining an undetectable viral load, it makes it so I'm not contagious. UequalsU. Undetectable equals untransmissible. You could fuck me bareback all day long and never catch HIV from me. It's a brave new world. The future is now, and it's 1969. Free love. Woo! Yes. All right, pill number 8.22. Down the hatch. We are robot. I forgot all about that. I heard myself say that on a video tonight. I can't remember why we said that, but we are robot. We are Claude. Don't worry, I don't have AI psychosis. I'm constantly checking for it. I love you all and have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining me.